Hi there, welcome to beautiful room 14 at Composite High School. This is my classroom. In October, I had the chance to travel to Bamfield, British Columbia and visit the Bamfield Marine Sciences Center. We took a group of 30 students and flew to Comox, British Columbia, where we boarded a bus and traveled to beautiful Port Alberni, where we stayed overnight in the Fat Salmon Hostel, which is run by a completely awesome couple named Charmeed and Chris. The next morning, we got up early and ate breakfast at the Blue Door Cafe, then boarded the MV Francis Barclay for our trip to Port Alberni. Along the way, we saw isolated villages and got to stop at Canada's only floating post office. Upon arrival at Bamfield, we got a full tour of the facility, including a pool full of sharks. The program we participated in at Bamfield was phenomenal. On their first field trip, students got to explore a rocky beach at low tide, got to see things like sea cucumbers, starfish, and even a sipunculin. We even found an incredible nudibranch near the docks after our lab. The next morning, we got to head out on the MV Alta, where we saw seabirds and a sea lion colony.
So there's two main types of sea lions here. See if you guys can kind of figure out the two main types.
Got to dredge up all kinds of cool stuff from the ocean floor before sending it back. We also got to take a boat up the inlet to go and do some oceanography, where we saw a black bear. We got to catch and keep some plankton. We also learned about marine mammals and how they're adapted to living in the ocean by doing jumping jacks while holding our breath. After a good night's sleep, we were off to Brady's Beach, where we got to study tide pools and see some magnificent waves and rocks, and where we took group photo and then presented our findings on what we found.
Anemones abundant in our tide pool. No fish swimming here. They're haikus.
Oh. And violets are blue. Anemones are cool. And they live in a tide pool. Oh.
On the way back, we passed through West Bamfield and saw the famous feral cat village and a highway made out of wood and rain. And after drying off, we experimented on some sea creatures and then went on a hike to study the rainforest and wear funny hats made out of moss. After our supper, it was off to do some presentations and then to bed. On our last day, we got to visit the world-famous West Coast Trail with its ladders and deadly mushrooms. Next stop was beautiful Pechena Bay, where we tried to catch isopods with little success, but did have a wonderful walk in the sun and found squid eggs and starfish and a crab and took some photos. On the way back home, we got to see goats on a roof, and my wife had her sandwich eaten by this bird. Our final stop was an artificial sea lion rock, so watch sea lions hang out, throw up, and belch in each other's faces.
Oh yeah, that's rapid.
It's always exciting to take students on these trips because they get the opportunity to experience so many new things that we just can't see or do here in Alberta, and hopefully inspire some of them to do more and learn more about the world around them. And all this is only possible because of the incredibly awesome people involved, from the staff at the BMSC and the MV Francis Barclay to the bus drivers and people at WestJet, to the students and their families, and my colleagues Cynthia and Jay Hoffus, and of course my wife. Without them, none of this would be possible. So thanks to all of you, and I look forward to my next trip. If you're interested in this kind of trip, I've put links in the doobly-doo. See you next time.